If you've ever had a BRD or FRD sitting in a dock, and someone still has to manually break it down into epics, features, and user stories, this episode is for you. We're going to upload a real business requirements document into the Intelligence Hub, let Walnut AI turn it into a structured backlog, and then walk through the full collaborative loop, refining a story with AI, reviewing it as a team, and getting it ready for development. Let's get into it. Inside your project, go to Intelligence Hub, click the document upload option and select your BRD or FRD. In this example, we're using an order management and POS system requirements document. This document covers a retail platform called Fresh and Homely, essentially a one-stop system for running a shop. It handles everything from billing customers at the counter and taking online orders, to tracking stock in batches with expiry dates, processing supplier invoices using AI, managing deliveries with drivers, and generating daily financial reports with GST. Different people in the business, the owner, manager, cashier, customer, and driver, each have their own login and can only do what their role allows. The goal is to replace fragmented tools with a single platform that keeps stock, sales, payments, and fulfillment all in one traceable place. Once uploaded, Walnut AI reads through the document and gets ready to generate your backlog. Click Generate, and the AI gets to work. Within moments, you'll see a full hierarchy appear: epic, feature, and user story, structured exactly the way a product team would organize a backlog. In our example, the epic covers inventory management, with a feature around batch lifecycle, and one user story underneath it that we're going to follow through the rest of this episode. Create and maintain inventory batches with full lifecycle, including quarantine, split, and status changes. Let's open this story. Read the story statement. As a store manager or cashier, I want to create and maintain inventory batches with full lifecycle management, including quarantine, split, and status changes, so that I can accurately track, control, and manage the quality and availability of stock throughout its entire lifespan. That's a clean as a I want, so that format. The role, the capability, and the business value are all immediately clear. Now scroll down to the acceptance criteria. This is where the AI has done most of the work. From just a few paragraphs in the BRD, it has accurately captured the complete status lifecycle. A batch begins in pending, can transition to released, maybe move to quarantine with a mandatory reason recorded, and from there can either return to released or progress to rejected or disposed as a final state. It's also picked up the more complex mechanics, splitting a batch into child batches with quantity validation, each child inheriting the parent's attributes, and a full parent-child relationship being maintained for traceability. And it hasn't missed the governance details either. Every status change logged in an audit trail that can't be edited or deleted by anyone, including administrators, and a color-coded status indicator so anyone looking at the batch can tell its state at a glance. This is exactly the kind of detail a business analyst would normally spend hours extracting manually from a document like this. And it's sitting here, structured and ready to review. Before saving the user story, let's tighten the story up a little ourselves. Looking closely, a couple of things are worth adding. The story defines quantity validation when splitting a batch, but doesn't say what happens if a split is attempted while the batch is already in quarantine. Select the story and from the chat option right within the Intelligence Hub, ask it to add a criterion clarifying whether splitting should be blocked while a batch is in quarantine status. The AI adds a clear new condition addressing exactly that, in the same tone and structure as the rest of the acceptance criteria. Review it and accept the change. Once you're happy with how the story reads, save it. Head over to Action Items, and there it is, sitting in your backlog under the Inventory Management Epic, fully structured and ready to be assigned. Before we move forward, let's look at what's available on this story's page. You've got the standard fields, status, priority, assignee, and story points. On the side panel, the Quality Metrics section gives you an instant snapshot of the story's health. You can quickly see test coverage, execution status, defect count, and the overall quality score. Metadata shows who created the story and when. Tags let you categorize it by module, sprint, or anything your team uses to organize work. And attachments lets you upload supporting files, whether it's a workflow diagram, a reference document from the store operations team, or anything the developer or QA might need. Everything about this story lives in one place. Let's assign it to a developer and see what happens next. Now the story is assigned to a developer, and a few days later they come back with a comment before starting work. Here's what they've written. Thanks for clarifying the split and quarantine case. 2 more things I need before I can start. For the parent-child split, if a child batch later gets quarantined or rejected, does that affect the parent's status at all? Or are they fully independent once split? And the audit log says it can't be modified by any user, including administrators. Does that mean even a correction for a genuine data error needs a separate process? 2 sharp follow-up questions. Exactly the kind of thing that surfaces once a developer actually starts mapping out the state machine in detail. As the business analyst, instead of manually rewriting the acceptance criteria, open the chat with AI right within the story again. Type out the developer's 2 concerns and ask the AI to update the acceptance criteria to address both. Confirm that parent and child batches are independent of each other once split, and add a criterion describing how data corrections are handled without breaking audit log immutability. The AI updates the story. A new criterion confirms parent and child batches are fully independent after a split, with no cascading effect in either direction. And another new criterion states that corrections happen through a new compensating log entry that references the original, rather than ever editing the original record itself. Once you're happy with it, reply to the developer's comment directly. Good catches, updated the criteria to cover both. Parent and child batches are confirmed independent, so a rejected child has no effect on the parent. And for the audit log, corrections go through a new compensating entry. The original is never touched. Stories updated and ready for you to pick up. That's the full loop on a single story, generated from the BRD, refined by you, picked up by a developer, questioned, clarified through AI chat, and handed back ready to build. All without leaving the story page. Once a story is refined and agreed on, you're not done yet. You can generate test cases of any type directly from this same page, which we'll cover in the upcoming session. That's requirements to user stories in Walnut AI. Upload your BRD, let AI structure your backlog, refine it collaboratively, and keep everyone aligned without leaving the platform. Subscribe so you don't miss the next one, and drop any questions in the comments.